Hey guys, we're back in the shop. We are working on this Econoline van and getting to a point where making some modifications. I was trying to do as little modifications as possible because it wasn't the plan, but I like doing things, I guess what I call the right way. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going in here and I'm putting in some more supports on this side since I cut this whole thing out. It's going to be easier to install, 1, 2, to access everything, and 3, it's just going to be better. I'll probably put a board back here where I'm going to mount everything, and then we'll have the battery back here and all of that good stuff. So the box thing that was here and all that, we're doing away with. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, then the previous live stream was going over all that. But what we're doing is I'm just turning this into something that I would be happy with. Basically is what we're doing. Now, unsurprisingly, nothing in here is square, so we're having to work around that. It's okay. The only thing I need square is this bottom piece of Baltic birch that I just cut. It's just a piece of scrap that I had. What's nice about this is marine grade, so I'm not gonna like paint it or anything like that. It's just gonna be natural wood like this, but this is going to be nice and resilient as far as just a little bit of moisture and stuff like that goes. The next challenge I have is this part right here. Because I'm not going to change any of this, I'm having to figure out where this lands and then how far this comes out. It was an issue before, but it wasn't really something that I had on the list to fix. But now, since I'm doing this, I had to shorten this. So I measured everything before I cut it, and after I cut it, this for some reason was still too long. So I just folded the bed down, which I'll show you here in a second. This is just reinforcements. Okay, excellent. So this is the shocks that I put in. So see how the bed stays up? So this way it's easier for her to lift up and get to the storage back there. Maybe down the line she'll want to redo something like put a drawer or something back here, which I might suggest. But for now, we're just doing one thing at a time. So as this comes down, there's this little latch right here. And I'm going to go ahead and re-center this. But essentially, once we get this all done, we can get the fun stuff, start connecting wires and stuff like that. Make sure that the audio is working. How's it sound out there? But essentially, once we get this all done, we can get the fun stuff. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, let's do this. Lock in the focus. There we go. All right. tension on that. I'll put like a piece of foam or something here. It's not really the tension that I wanted. I think I'm just gonna take this off. Trust me, what you guys are thinking is the same thing I'm thinking. I should just redo everything, but I'm trying to not drift too far from the plan. All right, so let's just use a clamp. Let's just clamp this side over here down. Actually, I'm just going to put this one in, and I'll put the other one on the other side. It is possible when I put in the other one that it might raise this one up, make it a little tighter. But yes, I know that this is just very simple hardware, but hey, as much as this is a DIY channel, this is pretty DIY, I'd say. Anyway, so that's gonna be there like that. I'll see if I can put, I'll put a piece of, I think I'll put a piece of felt. That'll probably solve this issue. Okay, this is not important. Well, I'll add the other one in here in just a second. Basically, I just wanted to get that lined up. That's all. I'll probably run to the store and find something tomorrow that is better. Okay, so next, let's get back over here on this side. So 1/2 inch piece of Baltic birch. This is now super strong. Everything is bolted with sheet metal screws into the chassis of the van. So who did install this, it's very, it looks thin, but it's actually, besides this part right here, this, since I cut it, all this is very beefy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little rust preventative, and then I'm going to do some sound deadening material, because that's going to, that beetle will go down and fill in the holes. And then this thing, before I do all that, we're going to test fit the inverter, get kind of our markings. So let's, here, let me move this over here so you guys can see. There we go. Now, some would say I'm installing this backwards. I just want to install it so it's the easiest for me to install. Technically, the wires should be in the back, but I can make up longer ones if I need to do that. But hey, I might change my mind in the next 5 seconds, so. Okay. What's making this challenging is I like continuous line, I like continuous cables. I don't want to crimp this. I do have appropriate splicers. They make these splicers for 6-gauge wire, 8-gauge, and if you make a mistake, it's really good repair. But I don't really want to do that. So my thought here is let me get a piece of 1/2-inch plywood and I'll just kind of show you my thoughts. So the DC to DC charger over here on this right-hand side, this really would be just the best place for it. So just back in there for a couple reasons. One, this cable is already ready to go. So if we get the controller, you can see here we've got alternator in. So that could, let's see here. Trying to get in the camera. There we go. So this is the cable in. This is the ground. So the ground, I like to have 3 cables for the ground. This is, let's see, let's go ahead and inspect this, because I may be, I heard some crunching in here. It's not good. Could be fine, but let's see. Look, do you see that? Do you see what I just did? Look at that. This is why vans catch on fire. This is also probably why the battery was dead. So, I mean, that's just like a live on camera reason you have to check all this stuff. Good Lord. Now this is the ground, but I'm just telling you guys, this is why. You gotta be careful. So we will be redoing that for sure. All right. Down there, it's hooked on very well. Up here, not so much. You can't hand crimp these, okay? When you get up to this gauge, you got to do a hydraulic crimp. It's not that expensive. You can buy it on Amazon. It's on my DIY cheat sheet. Link in description below. It's free. It's got a list of tools on it. But this right here, yeah. All right, I digress. Yeah, so these two can go for this right here. And then we got a lot of airspace. This thing can, this does get a little, I know the 50 amp gets warm. I don't think the 30 amp gets that hot. And let's see, that is there. Do you see I'm saying the alternator cable right here? See how this, now this one feels good. This one was crimped very well. So I'm not worried about this one. So this is a perfect fit, just like that. So we'll make a board that goes all the way across this back. We'll have this mounted here. And maybe we could put the battery back here. That feels like that's the home. That is the home. This may go back to where the original home may have been. And then we just put the battery back here. Because there's a couple additional things that we need to consider. And one is we still got to wire in the disconnect switch. We still have to do a couple other things. You may be asking, well, how come you didn't write down a plan before? Well, that's because obviously we have greatly changed the wiring and everything because we did not want to do a janky, dangerous setup. We wanted to do something that was safe. Okay, so the original plan was to have this mounted in the back. But we have that shock arm coming down. What is this right here? Oh, there's just a hole in the van. I don't know. Yep, that's just a hole. So we'll patch that up. All right. I really like how the carpet and this is all the same. It's the same height right here. That is nice. Let's see here. So maybe we. So this is a good example for you guys doing a DIY van out there. Don't feel like you have to have everything planned out. Take your time. You might, in 5 minutes, you might figure out how to do something way better. So yeah, don't freak out. Now, where we put this, we want to consider that if you're installing it into your van, that you will be the one in the future pulling it out of the van in case you need to do maintenance on it. So if you can design maintenance or serviceability into it, that's like a win-win. So right now my head was just like, hey, you need that spacer for the battery. It's not rocking all around. So if I have this here, this is going to come over. Okay, so there's my spacer. So that is going to cradle my battery, and then we can just do a normal, just a simple battery tie-down strap. We've got our negative coming out over here. So see, there's our negative. This is our, it's not the end of the world if we cut and crimp and make a new cable. That's, I'm trying to avoid that. This right here is my maximum, this way I can come. I do like using these 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch pieces, 2x2s, I think they're called. I like it because it's the exact same dimension as 80/20 15 series, so it's just comfortable to use. So we're going to do that, and then you always got to think about clearances. So what I mean by that is we need to think of the door shutting. So the door to shut. Okay. All right. So since we took the extra time to really make sure this bottom piece of wood was nice and, you know, bumped up against everything, now we can just come right to this edge and everything is coming together very nicely. So much that we can actually literally leave this exactly where it's at. I'll probably go back on what I said. I'll just use that butyl where the holes are, but as I can see now, I don't want this to lift it up at all. It's just perfect. But what we can do is now we have a nice place to put a bracket right there, because we want to be safe. This is going to be bolted to the chassis of the van. However, you know, if we can have something back here, just to make sure, yeah, just to hold it. The things that are obvious to me sometimes are hard to explain. All right, where is the metal shroud? The heck did I put that? Okay. So So I didn't put this back on the other van that I had, because I had this mounted vertically, and this was almost touching the bottom of the van, and all the wires came out here. So there's already a grill to make sure stuff doesn't go in there, but, and I'll explain here in just a second what I'm getting at. But what I may do is, I don't want the battery back in here, is the whole thing. Because this box is super strong. If she puts stuff back here, it's fine. I don't want anything laying, I don't want to build another box for the battery. Basically what I'm getting at. Now this is obvious, this will not be exposed. I won't have this exposed. There'll be a panel right here. Because we need to mount the disconnect switch, and then we need to mount the on-off, the battery level indicator. And then we need to mount this. All right, I think the battery's got to go in the inside. That was the original plan. I just didn't want it to. I didn't want it to be in there, but I don't think there's any other way. All right, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we'll put the battery over here. I have to bolt in a okay, it'll make sense here why I'm frustrated that they won't go in there. It's the additional reinforcement that I need to do to actually make it safe the way I like to have it. Because remember, we also have our breaker box that needs to go back in here. Get all this dust off of here. Temporarily screw this into place. This is exactly where it was before. I just want to hold it while I'm thinking, that's all. Okay, I'm going to talk through my original plan and then we'll see what's possible. So original plan was I wanted a disconnect switch it needs to be, I wanted it to be right here so she could quickly get to it if necessary. We'd just be able to open the door and then just get to it. There's enough room to where I can bump the panel out. All right, hold on, it's coming together. Oh, that's funny. I thought this would fit perfect, and it fits perfectly right here. All right, let's just say that this is where that is. So that is going to allow me to move this forward. It's not gonna be perfect. This just because it's Renogy, you have to mount this in this orientation. I mean, you can do that, but it has to be like this. So that could go there. Gotta have airspace. So it intakes air here and blows it out there. Let's see here. Okay, this will work right here. All right, not too bad. Looks like we got 6 people on the stream tonight. Welcome. Hopping on the internet really quick, and there is actually, I actually have the manual. So in this inverter, they technically want to, there's a certain orientation they want you to have the inverter mounted in. I've done different ways, but for some reason I just want to double check. Maybe they don't have it. I know it's on the internet somewhere. Campfires and dirty tires. How you doing? Yeah, this is I would say this is a handful because usually I have a plan that I have. I know what's going in the van. Everything is new. I'm not retrofitting another build or an older build. So this one's a little wild. If you watch the previous stream, there's another wild part, and that had to do with just the crazy wiring that was in this van. Very dangerous, and yeah, just needed to get fixed. So what I'm doing right now is just test fitting, obviously. That's kind of what it looks like. Just making sure I get enough airspace. Down here in the bottom is good. I like to have more up top than the bottom because obviously heat rises. This one, I know these fins get warm. So I need to make sure that this has got open area. So this is my plan. I'm going to, we're getting close. We're getting close to actually making something happen. So there's going to be a face panel on this back side. And the battery, let's see here. Battery, we can go like this. All right, that's good. So now I can get to my, okay, so I'll box this in the back. I've got my, let's see here. Let's see, what is that? Hopefully that was a subscribe. All right, this is turning out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. I got my negative terminal over here. So I've got my ground right here. I've got, I'll have to redo the ground cable anyway. It's not long enough, but we'll do a ground here to the battery terminal. And then we have a ground going to our DC to DC charger. So just nice short run. We've got our input from our alternator up here. So this is perfect length. I don't have to change anything. All I gotta do is put some silicone down in that hole to seal it up from the previous hole that was drilled. I do got this ventilation port that they put in for the lead acid battery, but I'm gonna be using that for my ground. So we have ground coming to battery ground to DC charger ground, and then we'll have that same ground come around, and we'll go ahead and mount that in here. Now we will not be putting the cover back on. The last build I didn't put any covers back on. The cover is not doing anything other than holding the cables. And just for appearances, I guess. So that's not necessary. So we're just going to come around here. We're going to swing around the positive, have the cable come around here, have that come through. Like I said, the negative, we'll just have the negative come around here, come up under, go around, come through. And then we can take this additional cable off, or we could reuse this. It's actually just good. They did a good job. So this is the power for the box. It's fused with a 40 amp fuse. We went ahead, went to the store, and we've got our new breaker. So if you guys missed the last episode, what we did is they had a 15 amp breaker for the AC side of the box, which needs to technically be 30. So I got a 15 and a 30. So where'd the other one go? So these are BR130 is the name of these. So BR110 and 130. I mean, yeah, 110, 130. Anyway, so we're going to take this one that was the breaker for the box, the distribution panel, and we're going to move it over here like it's supposed to be. And this is just the main 30 for the panel. And then these two are the two outlets in the van for 110, 120 volts. We have outlet 1, outlet 2. Outlet 2 is the refrigerator. Outlet 1 is the bedside for like your phone charger and stuff like that. And then inside, there's two more. One is for the air conditioner, and the other one, what was the other one for? Well, they used it for the main, so okay, well, we'll try to stick close to what it was before. The red main, that is accurate, that is correct, so maybe we don't have to add that. We might be all right just with what we have. So the red is the main to turn the distribution panel on. Green is the AC. Blue left is the back plug. Blue right is the inverter. Front plug 20. Okay. So yes, I know this is Romex. We are not rewiring the van, but don't put Romex in the van. It's not the end of the world, but you need marine grade wiring. I mentioned that in the last live stream, but this one is going to our fridge. This one is going to the other outlet. Okay. So next, let's see if we can mock up our disconnect switches. So we got all of our positive battery, positive inverter, and they're going to come off of here. So what I do is the input from the battery positive, so the battery out is the in on this. So it comes in here from the battery. The output is going to go to the inverter. So battery to inverter. Yeah, so this will be, so I'd like to have this right here, something like that. And then I'm going to cut out a new panel back here. Yeah, for the bed. Okay, so this will be here. And then we got two other so we've got a battery monitor and we got an inverter on and off. Haven't decided if I'm going to put the inverter on and off in here. So you can't see me, but I'm inside the van and there's just no good place to put that in here. What is this? I'm I'll be back with you guys. I'm just finding a switch in here that doesn't go anywhere. All right, got that. Ah, okay. That might have turned the inverter, the old inverter on and off. Got it, got it. Okay, that makes sense. All right, that makes sense. All right, okay, I think we got a plan. All right, let's get this plan in action here. We need to measure. I'm going to put a 2x4 back here. So 3 inches down is where it needs to do 2.5. So 2.5 will bring this out 1.5 inches. 2.5. Okay, let's do that. So we need one that's 2.5 by 37 inches. 37 inches. Two 37 inches. Let's go. One more cut. Okay, we got our back supports. That's going to push the inverter back because I do want to cut out a little window to see the information when the panel comes on here. If you're wondering what all the other stuff was about. So now I probably won't use a back panel this time. May not be necessary. We'll need a back panel for that one piece, but this stuff, maybe not. Can I get you guys a better view? I'll come up a little bit. Okay, front power from the battery. ground that we got to redo. So I'll need to see how far is that. Okay, I'll kick that back. Yeah, like I said, this stuff is not square at all. Okay, now we can move these a bit. Should allow us to get what we're looking for. It's just such a weird ground cable. Whoever installed this thing. Not trying to hate on it too bad, I'm just saying. A little wild. Okay, there we go. So this, we'll hold this into here. And we'll come through. Do one on the bottom, one on the top. This one. Okay, I'm squaring this to the bed. I'm not squaring it to this piece. It's squared to the bed. All right, I take that back. If you guys are tuning in new, I'm retrofitting a previous van build install. So I didn't install this. This was the lady that has this now, bought it from somebody who did this conversion. We're upgrading the power system so that she can run her AC and do shore power charging, DC to DC charging, all that good stuff. But instead of just dumping the battery and replacing it and then just kind of retrofitting some stuff, it would look terrible. It would work, but it wouldn't. I like taking pictures of my work, and it wouldn't look like my work. It'd look like somebody just put a battery in there randomly. It would not look. It would not be what you guys expect of me, and it would look I like garbage, so. So go easy if you think that this is my creation. Okay, let me measure. This would kill me, guys. It's so simple. It's just a battery and an inverter. But I don't know. The more I hack it up, I really think that I should just. This is a tough one. In a perfect world, we would, let's talk about a perfect world. That sounds fun. So the way that this bed is, do you see how they built this? They have a drawer over here, and they have a long open space over here. I do think in the future, I'm going to be putting in a long drawer slide in there. So I kind of don't want to redo everything. So I'm focusing on just this area over here, and I'm trying to stick with what I started with. I've already gone further than I need to, but that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, so I needed to, let's make sure that I'm not going too high on the 2x4. So 11.5 inches. It's got to grab at 11.5. So is that a good view? How about this? A little bit of a wider view. Is that better? Something like that. So as long as I've got, let's see, we need the hole to be 11 inches. Do I have, am I biting at 11 inches? No. So this isn't final. I'm just trying to get this thing held into place. So I'm not using clamps. Okay. So there is something we can reference off of. Let's go ahead and cover up these holes in the bottom. We're just going to use a kill mat, the sound deadening material, just to take care of that. Nothing too fancy. Clean it up just a little bit because this will help it stick better. If you're wondering, I'm using a denatured alcohol to clean it all up. Like it's my go-to with all this stuff. If you guys are wondering. If you're saying, hey, there's no way that seals a hole, I promise you, it will seal the hole. So after we do this, I'm gonna put the wood, not the wood, the wood piece down. How many more patches we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty, I need a little piece around that weird copper ground. I'm going to try to use that. Okay, all the holes are good to go. So let's put the board back in. And then one thing you can do is just in the front, so right here, just come in and mark the center of the high spots. the van, or the corrugations. And that way when we come back in here, we can bolt this thing down. So now it probably makes more sense on kind of what I was doing earlier. So this is going to make this. No, this bed. I'm not sure why I'm even doing this. Trying to square it up, but man, it is so far from it. you, Nova. Excellent. Okay, let's get the inverter. Hold on a second, Nova. I gotta get the inverter in. Something like that. Let's see if we got enough space for the inverter. If you guys are wondering, these brackets that I just put in, this is what ties this whole base plate into the chassis of the van. That's important because you don't want, in the event of an accident, I'm trying to, this is not just to offset it and mount it to, it's like a backstop. So if you hit something, this inverter weighs like 60 pounds or something like that. So, you know, you want to have some type of protection. So. And I've found that Craig screws are just the best, not for what I did, I used sheet metal screws, but Craig screws, don't use sheet metal to tie the bracket into wood. So right now I'm using Craig screws. And this thing is solid. In the event of an accident, if it was just these little half-inch by inch-and-a-half pieces, I mean, it would just splinter going forward. So something to think about. The placement of these is hard because I do have the inverter flush up against this, so that's why I had to put it in first and then kind of come back. Okay, so that thing is solid as a rock. So this will be, yeah. Okay. One more screw over there. That part is good. Looks like we need one on this back side. Craig screw. Okay. Good to go. That's good. One more right there. That's too short. Okay. Next, I think I'm going to raise this up since that is now been reinforced. Hello. All right, guys, that is where we're going to end it tonight. Let's get over here and kind of review what we did. So we've got our spot for our inverter, so it's going to fit right here. We're going to have a cover panel that slides behind this lip right here. And actually, I just saw that screw. Let's take that out before I forget it. So if you can imagine, there's going to be some type of panel that comes in, and it's just going to slide in here like that. And then what I usually do is I'll take this like 1.5 inches and I'll put it behind it so I have something to screw into. So that panel will come in and it'll just wrap this whole back area. Just clean it up a little bit. And then we might do, I'll probably do some other strap situation, since I've just went ahead and done so much to this thing. It's also possible that I come over and I stop right here, and then that's just where the front face ends. And then when you close the bed and the bed's closed, everything is nice closed up. It's more likely, but if I want things to look good, which I do, I know this is in the right position for the bed. So now that we have everything out of the way, we can close this. So yeah, so this is still good. This is in a good position. And so this can move a little bit. It's a little bit of mold over here, so I might fix that for her and just move that back. So that way, when this panel comes in, I might do 2 pieces. I might do 1 piece here, over there. I might just want to do 1 piece here. I'm not sure. Again, doing a little bit more than the project called for, but I just can't see it being done any other way, the right way. This is kind of, you kind of plan a job, but then you fill out the way it's supposed to be. This is the way it's supposed to be. So this actually might stay here, this latch, and then just latch to the board. But she'll need 2 things here. So we're going to need, this will be in the panel, so there'll be a hole saw cut out. The way the doors are, this is the widest point, so I wanted to keep this close here to the center. And so this will be here in case not using the van or just want to turn everything off. And then, honest, there's no place to have her battery stuff in there. And if she's going to have her fridge on, she'll just be able to come back here and check it, which reminds me, so I like to review this stuff because it gets me thinking about stuff for tomorrow. I need to make a mark with this marker. So we need to shut the door. And we need the disconnect switch to be here. Or might be over here. It's just thinking ahead. Like you don't want to. Here, let's make up a little thing here. So that will probably be fixed, something like that. So we'll have this here. Yeah, this will be a single panel. I think it'll be a single panel. Anyway, you want this to where if you open one door, you can get to it, not behind the second door. So forget, like if you have a diesel heater and you need to fill it up, try to put it on the right side of the van, the tank, not the left, so you don't have to open both doors. You can just open one. So this will probably go here. And then right below that, we should be able to see a little window. Because if it's 1.5 inches, I think I got room. I think I'm good. Because that needs to be like that. Anyway, that is for tomorrow. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it and got to learn something. If you guys are not already subscribed, get subscribed to the channel, like the video, share it with anybody that's doing type of work like this. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow as we wrap this up and start crimping our cables and connecting everything. But this is pretty much this was the most difficult part. Everything else is just plug and chug. So that's it for the live stream. We'll see you guys next time.